Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Disc Coverers, the only podcast that reads, reviews, and ranks all 41 of Terry Pratchett's seminal comic fantasy novel series, you guessed it, The Discworld. I, as ever, am your host, Iris J. Pronouns are she or there, and with me are my delightful co-hosts. BALINA, why don't you go first, then Grace, then Juniper.
I am still BALINA, pronouns she/they/WFB. Not much to say, I'm just happy to be here and glad we had another good one tonight.
I am the internet's beloved Princess Grace, she, her, faith, you're fair, if you're spicy. Happy to be here, and welcome to Midnight. This meeting of the Midnight Society, there we go.
Whoa.
I am still Juniper. I am still she, her, and I am so excited to talk about this book. Let's go.
Yeah. Today we're talking about I Shall Wear Midnight, which is, I believe, the 38th book in the Discworld series, and the 4th Tiffany Aching novel. In this one, we meet a slightly older, slightly more weathered Tiffany as she takes care of her witchly duties, while also fending off a sort of an interplanar avatar of human bigotry and hatred.
Wow.
And also making friends with the girl who stole her man. Really, really interesting book, I think. I feel like I'm really shocked. I hadn't read this before now, and I'm really wilded out that Terry still had one banger left in the tank. At least one.
I really liked this book. My partner Zoe has been telling me how good this book is for ages. Like, this has always been her book of like, no, this is actually one of the best books Pratchett ever wrote. And I was always like, well, it's like the end of the Tiffany Aching series. It's way near the end of his life. I don't know. And no, she was right. It's goddamn. I really like this.
Yeah.
There's several things that make this one really different from a lot of the other ones, and I know we'll get into that, but he's definitely learned a lot from writing the previous ones.
I also feel like we'll get into this later, but I feel like it does a lot of the tropes and standard things that Pratchett loves to do, but it does them a lot better than I expected. It's a lot more tight, and a lot of the archetypes that he normally uses are just done in a way that really made me appreciate them instead of being like, oh boy, it's this again.
Yeah. It is interesting because this book feels the most, out of all the Tiffany Aching novels, this one so far feels the most integrated with the rest of Discworld. Like, we're not being coy about this being a separate thing from Discworld anymore. We go to Ankh-Morpork in this one, which is wild.
And we get to do something. We get to see someone who we're so fucking excited to talk about.
Yeah. But it's interesting because a lot of the more screwball qualities, like, for instance, our previous book, Unseen Academicals, had, there isn't as much of this here, and it feels a little bit more nailed to Tiffany's interiority and the struggles that she's going through. And I feel like that really keeps the book's focus very sharp. Similar to Going Postal, I think Terry works best when he is writing about a character where it is mostly about what's going on inside of their heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like one of the best things he does is when you have a character with a lot going on inside of their head, struggling with that against a force that isn't so much a person as much as it is just kind of the evil in the universe, and how do you go up against that? I mean, this is why Night Watch is my favorite Discworld book. I think Going Postal did that really well, and I think this one is very in line with those.
You're right. It is wild. This is right after the wacky college football book, given that this one starts off with like, hey, by the way, you ready for some domestic abuse?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Like, it's good. Not domestic abuse is not good, but like it's the story is good, but it is a bit of there's some contrast here, you know?
Yeah, it's really, we really went out to do wacky thwacky football story, and then we came back. It's like, hey, remember Tiffany Aching? Well, she lives in the world, and the world has bad shit happening in it. Get ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of,
Uh,
BALINA, do you want to
yeah.
talk about the bad shit that happens in this book?
I don't know. I feel like I end up skimming over most of the bad shit when trying to do a synopsis because a lot of it just kind of, it's not structurally important. It's just character important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get into the various beats and themes of it in the discussion portion. But yeah, if you just want to give us the broad strokes now, whenever you feel
Okay.
like it, go for it.
Tiffany Yaking, now 16, has continued to work as the Witch of the Chalk. While performing her usual duties, she has gradually become aware that public sentiment has been shifting, and despite their service and necessity, witches are becoming less palatable among the populace. Rumors and stories with no clear originated basis are spreading, and suspicion is being directed towards everyone who wears a pointy hat. When the Baron, who is under Tiffany's care, dies suddenly but unexpectedly, she is immediately blamed. Tiffany makes it her business to inform the Baron's son, Roland, whom Tiffany has had a falling out off camera since the last book, and is presently on business to Ankh-Morpork. Along the way, she is accosted by a mysterious, odorous, and eyeless figure that seems to blame her, and all witches, for every evil in the world. Upon arriving in Ankh-Morpork proper, she connects with the local coven, and immediately gets in trouble with the law thanks to things the Feagles have done in her name, which is only slightly her fault. More importantly, she meets up with Escarina Smith, protagonist from 35 episodes of this podcast ago, who informs her that this mysterious figure and the inflamer of the antipathy towards witches is a creature called the Cunning Man, a formerly human witchfinder who's burned alongside one of his victims, and has become sort of a mimetic demon that pops up every few decades. He was woken up by Tiffany's actions at the end of Wintersmith, and has been hunting her specifically while spreading chaos generally. Returning to the Chalk, she finds that Roland has ordered the Feagles mound to be destroyed on loose ground, and has called for her not quite arrest, but close enough to it. Upon investigation, Tiffany finds that Roland's fiancée, Letitia Keepsake, is an untrained but extremely promising witch who may have sort of accidentally cursed Tiffany while standing next to one of the primary connections between the Cunning Man and polite society. Oops. Oh, and the Cunning Man has gotten a hold of someone well enough to drag him approximately 500 miles from the city to the Chalk, and she should do something about that. She does something about that, burning the Witchfinder and his vessel alive in a brief moment of power between a wedding and a funeral, and it's all okay. It's fine. Everyone's okay now, and we only have 2 endings before the epilogue this time. Love wins.
Wait, love wins.
Yay!
So how many Escarina boyfriends is this? Is this 2 or 3?
You mean Tiffany boyfriends?
Tiffany
I
boy.
feel like she always winds up with some different guy at the end of each book.
This
It's
is
been
so-
consistently Roland on it.
Yeah, it's been Roland, and then this time it's like, no, it's this other
It's
guy, Preston.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
2 is better than Roland, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I actually really
mean,
like. There's a conversation late in the book where they have the Roland basically says to her, like, look, you are wonderful and amazing and fantastic, and you are too smart for me. I am not like I know you liked me as a kid and we had like some stuff, but I am not someone who is thinking like you about weird stuff and everything going on all the time and having second thoughts and third thoughts. You do that. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know what the
cannot be
fuck
the
sound
best.
friendship makes.
Okay, no, the fact that they both played the word game was like incredibly endearing to me.
Yeah.
The what does this word sound like thing. The moment they start doing that, you can just kind of hear the little bluebirds in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're creative together.
like them.
That's cute.
Yeah.
They're a good pair, and I feel like it's interesting. I like that the pair in this book it's not just here's a new boy, which I feel like Pratchett has done in the past. It's explicitly here's a new guy, and also Tiffany really has to deal with the complicated emotions of that. It's good.
Yeah. Especially when so much of her weird animus in this book is like she's like, I'm trying to be an adult. I'm gonna get over the fact that Roland is dating a new girl, even though I don't like her. And then she learns more about the girl. She's like, oh, wait, she's kind of interesting. Maybe we could be friends. But she's also kind of annoying, but whatever. Also, Roland's being a weird dickhead because he's trying to be the Baron too much. And the Cunning Man is in the mix. It's like a lot. There's actual, like, soap opera-esque drama in here that I feel like was being tried to be angled at in Unseen Academicals, but I feel like it works better here because the characters are already established. We know more about their history, and the stakes are a little more tangible, if that makes sense.
So you already have you have a wedding and a funeral, which is classic soap opera stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff's gonna be running high.
It also, due to the whole nature of the villain in this book, who I liked a lot, due to the nature of it being both like a specific evil thing, but also just generally kind of an avatar of hate and bigotry, you're able to be like, oh, this character's acting weird and shitty towards Tiffany, or this character's acting out of character. Is that because of this corrupting influence, or is that just because people suck sometimes? And it's never clear, and the book specifically makes that an important point, that that's never something you can be clear about.
Yeah.
Like that.
Is this?
Sometimes it's influence. Sometimes like people are just like this. That the reason the cunning man will, and at the end, always keep coming back forever, that they can't kill him, is because people are kind of shitty a lot of the time, and you can't escape that.
Some people are just weird and religious. It doesn't mean they're possessed. It just means they kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
But it does mean you can own them if you.
I do want to point out that, like, this is the first time that Tiffany's antagonist was actually a dude. Like, it was always some otherworldly force. Like, the whole point of Wintersmith was that the Winter itself was being forced to act like a dude, but this was a dude.
Yeah, and, like, it was still, like, a supernatural dude, but the dude in question acted through other people most of the time.
I mean, most of what he did
humans.
was just whispering in people's ears and inflaming things that were already there. That was kind of the point, is like he couldn't make anything from nothing. He could only work with what was already there.
Exactly.
Also, and smelling bad. He also did that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like a bad smell that made you racist.
To be fair, this is Discworld. A lot of people smell bad.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's notable.
Yeah,
like, she even says, like, no, this is just like the normal bad smell of, like, pigs or Ogfor pork. This is something else.
We're talking, like, racist bad smell, not normal bad smell.
Yeah, like, listen, there's pigs, there's the city, whatever. Those things are allowed to smell. Those are fine.
Yeah, no, I think it was really interesting. I like also that there are call-outs to previous books in this book where I feel like it's really rewarding if you've read the previous three. But also, I like that it doesn't pick up immediately after where Wintersmith left off. It feels like in every new Tiffany Aching book, she feels like a slightly more matured, sort of sure of herself person. It feels like the lessons she's learning stack on each other. And, like, it still doesn't make her perfect. There are a lot of moments in this book where she really tries her hardest, but, you know, she's still not... she's not as experienced as others. She's still a human. She still gets nervous. She still gets frustrated. But you can see her grow into being a witch over the course of these books, which is very exciting.
Yes.
It's really neat.
Yeah, she's 15 in this, which is wild. Obviously, she's a
That's
fictional
crazy.
character. Like, I couldn't do any of this shit at 15.
It's
15, I was doing my first webcomic and I was reading somethingawful.com's forums. Like, you think I was like a capable adult? Hell no.
It feels like a really good capstone to the series, especially because all of the previous books have had a lot of elements of, like, her learning how to be a witch, learning how to be someone that people can rely on, learning how to deal with her emotions in certain ways and fight against things and do specific odd types of magic. And in this book, there isn't really that sort of conflict. The conflict isn't, is she going to give in to her shitty pride or something, that sort of thing. It is like, no, she's pretty self-assured. She's pretty great at this. She knows what she's doing really well. She's just up against the biggest evil possible. How do you beat that?
Like, the pride is on her side. That's, like, the whole thing, is the pride is her weapon. You gotta have some pride in your work if you're gonna do this.
She did not have to actually lean on anyone else, and it was kind of like this major thing that I do appreciate that there's several cases of them going, well, like, maybe she shouldn't be fighting this on her own. Maybe she should be asking for help. And the general consensus of that was, well, yes, you absolutely should ask for help, except if you do, they're never going to take you seriously again. And that's actually something that gets enforced with witches.
Yeah. But she does get help, just not from...
Not in the... She still does all of this more or less on her own.
She tries very, very hard, makes very, very clear that she does not want help. She receives help that is different from asking for help. It's great. And it's great, too, that, like, the Cunning Man is this like constant, ever-present threat no matter where Tiffany goes, that finds multifarious different ways to sort of push itself into our world, whether that's literally in terms of the whole scene in Lucretia's library with the book and everything, or the tapestry, or in just more nebulous psychic ways. It's a really, out of all of these sort of Dungeon Dimensions like variations on that theme that Terry has done in the past, this is definitely one of the most effective, because it feels like it is clearly supposed to represent something. It has intent. It isn't just sort of a pastiche of chthonic media or a nebulous concept that needs details on its mechanics delineated specifically. We already know what the Cunning Man is like because we have seen his work in our world, so we don't need to explain too much.
He likes doing a thing where the villain is both a representation of something, but here it's very explicit, and I think it works really well. It's probably my favorite version of it I've seen that he does. Just, it's something that you're used to. It's something that we understand. Tiffany is fighting against... I was talking to Zoe about this, my partner, and I said this kind of feels like the end point of a lot of Pratchett's anger, that this is him writing a book about all the stuff he hated most, and the thing he hated most was hate. Just this bigotry, like, I'm just the sheer amount of anger he has towards this, and the sheer amount of desire he has to see people thinking and logic and feeling things out win against hatred and bigotry is the most on display here it's maybe ever been in Discworld. And it means a lot. Also, the book starts with, like, the book we mentioned it earlier, but the book, this book was told to be, Zoe was always like, yeah, this is the book that starts with Tiffany immediately caring for someone after miscarriage and possibly her doing an abortion.
Yeah. Which
is really, I mean, that's cool. I'm glad to see that. That's really dark, but I'm glad that a kid's book has that.
Yeah, right. It's, I kind of, like, this is wild for a young adult book. It's good, don't get me wrong. It is, like, a lot of the stuff in here is like, dang, it's a young adult book because it's, you know, it makes things a little clearer. It's very much, it has that, the thing that really sets apart the Tiffany Aching books is this tone that's like, it's like, listen, you, precocious kid in the audience, I see you. Don't worry. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
But you know, he doesn't pull any punches with the subject matter.
The way that he described the rough music was just, like, legitimately haunting.
Right.
Yes.
Like, that is shit that would have fucked me up as a kid.
Really good.
This idea that there is the mob mentality of sort of community justice, and it's portrayed as like, well, yeah, you know, what's his face? The shitty guy. His name is like Dunk or Tub or something like that.
Yeah.
His last name is Petty.
Mr. Petty. Right. Yep. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we first hear about the rough music, it's framed as like, well, Mr. Petty, what does seem like a nightmarish person. And, you know, people in the community might decide, yeah, that guy's going to get what's coming to him. We're going to make sure that guy's going to get what's coming to him. But also, pretty remarkably in the book, later, Tiffany argues against him getting, you know, lynched or whatever.
Yeah, she cuts him down.
Because there is still some mote of humanity left in his soul. He still mourns for the dead child. He still he expresses grief that he's like this, and it's like we can't rely on this sort of mob mentality to, you know, to decide who is in the right and who is in the wrong, because that it's born from immediate rash emotions, and it never takes in the entire story. Maybe people can do unspeakable things, but that doesn't make them unspeakable people.
It also also just with him, like there's a sense with it that like maybe he does deserve this. Maybe this is honestly what he should have. Like maybe he is in this, like the thing he did is the most horrifying thing. Maybe he should be completely killed or whatever. But she can't let that happen at her hands or at the hands of the mob. That those are not ways to handle this.
Yeah,
and it's an idea that Pratchett puts forward that is not something you can do. That is dangerous and leads to bad places. And then the entire rest of the book is just like, and here's what happens when the mob comes after someone who potentially doesn't deserve it. Here's what else that can do. An argument for why you don't do that. It's a really compelling thing, especially because he doesn't really get better. Like it seems like he probably continues to be a terrible person.
Oh yeah.
It's not really portrayed as like, oh well, he's gonna. It's portrayed as like,
no,
we don't have.
He's not gonna clean up his act. Yeah, he's a dead end. But like this feels like a much more sharper version of the "there is no justice, there's just us" line from previous books, where if we cannot let our own sort of immediate emotions decide what justice is. That is the quickest way to treating people as things, and when you treat people as things, we all know you're the bad person in a Discworld novel.
Yeah, it's very explicit about it, and it doesn't feel like it has an answer. It doesn't feel like it wants to be like, and here's what we should be doing. Instead, it's just like, we can't do this. We cannot take this approach. And it hits really hard because of that. I like things with doubt that don't give an easy answer to stuff, but know where we can't go.
Yeah. Sometimes not everybody has the answers to the questions, but it's still important to ask those questions.
Yeah. There's the bit about halfway through where everyone's Tiffany, you gave a girl to the fairies. You did that. You did this. You did that, and really the only way out of it is she has leverage, right? She is a witch. She has to yeah, you could if you leave me locked up, who's gonna help your mother's leg? Who's gonna do all the things I have to do? And he's like, what are you supposed to do if you don't have leverage, or at least if your opponent can't doesn't know you exist and can't be made to feel bad? And, it's not the book's job to solve that. Hoo boy.
No.
Sometimes it's just nice to see a world where it works out,
It's an argument.
Yeah, for real.
I keep thinking of Pratchett as one of the last, true believers in the, rational atheist skeptic sort of vibe thing. Because it's in this very specific way of, we can beat bigotry through logic and reasoning and not giving into emotional stuff, but it has to be combined with actual empathy and care. You have to do those things first.
Yeah.
Which is it's so core to this book that it's not just that Tiffany is I'm going to think through this stuff and I'm going to figure out an answer, but also that she has people around her who care about her. It's the combination of the two, which is where, honestly, the reason that a bunch of fucking asshole Reddit atheists become shithead conservatives and then just go right back to being Christians half the time, because when you don't have any of that empathy or care, when you're just doing it as a way to see yourself as better than other people, instead of trying to believe in a better world, it leads to shit. It leads to terrible stuff. Good book.
Good book.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, good book.
Also, Escarina's there. She shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shows up. You get to see the Unreal Estate.
Esk is here. She is a Time Lord. It's wild.
She really is.
She deserves it.
She just kind of...
It's great to see that she wasn't just a dropped thread. She's back in the mix and she's making wacky-ass hybrid witch-wizard science that lets her, basically stop and control the flow of time and shit.
Yeah. She loves to stop the flow of time and give Tiffany advice.
So cool. She's awesome.
She doesn't do a hell of a lot, but she's here to help.
Yeah, I feel like she was probably originally slated to do a lot more, but kind of got relegated further and further to the back lines as the drafts went on.
She does mostly just give exposition, but like if you're going to choose a character to show up and give you exposition here, honestly, I'm really glad that Pratchett went, so I could go grab like Granny Weatherwax again or any of these people, but instead it's like, what if I pull out Escarita Smith? Fuck yeah. Like, that's awesome. You went and pulled out the original Witch Wizard, and we're just like, she's here, and she's just going to be the exposition Time Lord.
Yeah, esque position.
I also think it's interesting that, like, they mentioned that Escarina was the first pupil that Granny took under her wing back in the day.
Yeah.
And she was still called Granny then, and she was and Esk was a little girl, and now she's like a full-ass, like, late 20s adult. So it's been... Time has passed in the universe of the Discworld.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Makes Granny feel older than she kind of had in previous books, I guess. It was really conscious about that.
Mm-hmm.
I also got to say, my other favorite, I guess... new for this book, but kind of returning character that we've heard her implied a lot is the proprietor of Boffo's Joke Emporium, Miss Proust. Yeah. I love Miss Proust. She is so good. She's a city witch from Ankh-Morpork, and as you would assume, she is on that grift 24/7, always trying to market herself, always trying to hustle. Also, all of the rubber masks she sells of the creepiest, nastiest, grossest witch you can possibly imagine are based on her real face. She is living the witchcore life. But she has a really great sense of humor about it, and she's really fun, and I just loved any time she was on the page.
She's girl bossing. You love to see it.
I hate to say it, but yeah, I am not immune to girl boss. Sometimes I like a girl boss. Sometimes I love a lovable rogue who is also a gal.
It was good just to see the fact that, yeah, of course there are fucking witches in the city, but you know, they're just have a very different kind of clientele.
Also the fact that she was I love when she goes to, like, the Tanty, and it turns out she's also the daughter of one of the best hangmen to ever do it, and that everybody who works at jail is like, oh shit, well, I mean, right this way, ma'am, of course. Your father, he was a legend. Gosh, if I could have only shook his hand while he was still alive. Wow.
It's such a funny thing of them being like, wow, he was so good at executing people. He hung them so well. Like, okay.
He's like, like several different people bring up, 7.25 seconds flat every time. Goddamn beautiful. We'll never see anything else like it. An honor. Best hangman we've ever had.
This book is much less of a comedy book than most other Discworld books, to be frank, but it is still really funny when it gets the chance.
Oh, yeah. And it's also character building, because you could imagine how, like, growing up in a house with a guy who takes quite a lot of pride and care in a job that most people would be disgusted by kind of gives Miss Proust, like, her angle, where it's like, okay, I'm going to work 2 jobs, a witch and somebody who makes fake dog shit that most people would find distasteful. But I'm going to do the hell out of both of them, and I'm going to maybe turn them into one thing. I'm going to do my best, and that's going to help people, whether they like it or not. That's a very Ankh-Morpork way of approaching witchery, which I love.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other stuff. I mean, I'm curious. What did y'all think of Roland and Letitia, the 2 lovebirds in the middle of the book?
I wish we'd seen more about what Roland sees in Letitia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird black box there.
Part of the problem was that, like, since this is done exclusively through, or almost exclusively through Tiffany's viewpoint, and Tiffany just does not like thinking about Roland. She has very much filed him away as, well, it probably was never going to work out. And, she's probably right. They were never really a good fit for one another. They just, showed up in a few books together. And, that's fair and all, but she is very clearly not actually over him as much as she wants to pretend otherwise.
Yeah, because she has that whole thing where, like, she tells Roland she loves him, and then she says, I'm going to marry you, and then there's a cute little thing where by marry you, it turns out she means I will perform I will make you two be wed. But she
I
tells
will
him to his
marry
face she has
parentheses
feelings.
verb you. Yeah.
Yeah, but she also tells him she loves him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like because we kind of already know who Roland is from previous books in a way, and in this book, Pratchett was just like, well, I'm going to talk about who Letitia is, but I'm not really going to... He doesn't really develop a chemistry between them.
Yeah.
They're cute, but, like, I don't really get why they're together like that.
Especially the whole thing in the back half of the book after Tiffany and Letitia, make friends and, get witchy together, and then there's a couple jokes about how whipped Roland is. I was like, well, I still think you're up to something, but I can't argue with my wife, so here we are. Which is, like, weird, right? Like, Roland and Tiffany know each other. It's weird that he's like, well, my bitch wife, who I love, says I have to be nice to you, my dear friend who I've known since we were, like, 6.
Like, let's put this on top of the fact that I don't believe Letitia asked him for a single thing before she said, hey, lay off Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe she has ever asserted herself before that exact moment in her life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really...
And, maybe he took notice to that. Maybe he went, oh, fuck, this is serious. But we don't really spend any time dwelling on him, so we have no real way to know anything beyond the most surface level take on him.
Yeah, this is the kid who is living out a siege against his aunts in the last book, and also like using his anger to cut like evil ghosts or whatever in half and shit in previous Tiffany Aching books. I don't know. He's always had a little bit more jazz than this, and I was hoping that as he came into his own, he would develop more of his own character too. But it just seems like, I don't know, the death of his father really kind of made him. You can feel him trying to kind of wear shoes that are too big for him, and I think in that, he gets subsumed into this rigid idea of class and heteronormativity that...
Roland is defined by having to wear things too big for him. That has always been his thing, and I feel like he was better characterized in previous books.
Yeah, like, he's letting his aunt in now, even though, as you said, he was living out the siege. Now he's, quote, talking to people as though they're a public meeting.
Yeah, it very much feels like he's kind of let those too big clothes sort of swallow him in a way, which
does feel like because he's like about Tiffany's right. He's like a teenager.
He's like
16
or something.
Yeah.
So
like that's why he's like, well, ipso facto, business numbers. That henceforth with.
Yeah, it's like maybe you wouldn't have had good chemistry with Tiffany then.
Yeah.
Like if this is how you're going to act as you get older, as you grow into your station, Like it really, I guess it just really proved that like, this guy wasn't going to be a great fit. But also it just feels sad.
I will say in his defense, it is also unclear how much he is being influenced by an avatar of hate for a good portion of the novel. He definitely is for some portion of it, but it's hard to be like there's a good portion where he is not acting like himself entirely and giving into the hatred of those around him, and we don't really get a ton of characterization from it because of that.
There's kind of a thread going around that part where it's pointed out that like he doesn't even really remember the stuff that took place in the previous books. He doesn't super remember the time he got stuck in Fairyland, and I think there's sort of an implication that he's just extra suggestible to this kind of shit at this point in the way that you develop an allergy.
I think a bit of that,
but that's not really, nothing's really done with that exactly, and he does to like immediately snap back as soon as I do not like the curse thing that Letitia did, because that muddles a lot. Because when they break that, it does seem to just change a bunch of shit that it shouldn't have. I mean, it's possible that was actually a surprisingly powerful curse, but a lot of things happened at the same time.
See, I didn't see it so much as that. I just saw it as like this is kind of what drew his attention, and they didn't so much break the curse as much as just like the curse was not necessarily real, but it was the thing that was drawing the attention of evil.
Yes.
And sort of like,
but
well, I guess it's sort of more what breaks the curse is what breaks Roland being a dumb idiot is Letitia not being a sad sack who's completely alone because, oh wait, okay, hold on, I'm not like miserable. My fiance is miserable. My mother-in-law is miserable. Everything is bad. Hold on, I'm a person.
When Tiffany says, no, you got the witch juice, she's like, oh, that's so cool. She's like so happy that she's got the witch juice in her.
I earnestly loved just her casually rattling off all of these things she's been doing to placate all of the fucked up ghosts in the mansion.
Yeah.
That was I earnestly loved that. Like when somebody does not realize that what they've been doing is exceptional is always just a good time.
I also really, I mean, I really liked Letitia in this book. I really liked how a lot of her dialogue went back and forth between like idiot privileged person being like, wow, you have it so much nicer than me in my beautiful mansion with all of my beautiful food and doing everything so correct and wonderful.
My gigantic beautiful library.
Yeah, like she goes back and forth between that and then like saying the most like pathetic I never had anyone love me as a child thing in the next sentence. And you could feel Tiffany just being like, God, I want to be a dick to you, but I can't really be a dick to you because like this does suck. And I'm okay.
Yeah. Especially the whole thing where, because the Duchess has been a piece of shit the whole time. Like we all hate her, but then when Letitia and Tiffany fly together, like, she's just like, well, yeah, like obviously she sucks, but also like look at this. We have this whole pension wing. We like we take care of everyone who got old. Like we have this whole like. We run a whole damn nursing home. Most of the people we hire are just taking care of the old people. And it's like, I know you think she sucks, and she does, but yeah, we're at least doing some noblesse oblige.
Which kind of cuts against how she was presenting like 2 chapters earlier, but...
Yeah, it's like, it was like, oh, you hate this person. Well, what if I told you they're nice to other people, but not to you, and also, someone else is gonna tell you she used to be a music hall dancer, and then you could blackmail her into being nice. Simply do that.
It's nice to Letitia. It's more. Yeah. It's less nice to the Duchess. But I do like that contrast because I could feel Tiffany in those sentences just being like. I mean, look, as a queer person who has talked to people before who will go back and forth between like how to say this politely, saying some of the most privileged white person shit you've ever heard in your life. And then immediately the next sentence talking about like really, really awful childhood abuse stuff. And you're just kind of like, wow, this is complicated to talk to you about. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm not allowed to just despise you uncritically.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Fuck, you're complicated. You have interiority. You've been mean to me, but I see you're good to other people. It's complicated. Fuck.
I did also, BALINA, I loved the scene with all of the ghosts, and her just being like, yeah, I gave this one a teddy. I gave the skeleton a teddy bear. I don't know why that worked, but it was good. It's just like...
Oh, yeah, that's old Mildred. She doesn't have a head. She haunts the library. I gave her a pumpkin. I think it keeps her chill.
It's so good.
Yeah, there's a whole extra YA novel about Letitia that never got written, but I could see it.
I will say I did really love when Tiffany's talking to Roland and is like, your fiance's probably a witch, and he's like, oh god, is this going to be another way I get black? Is this going to be another thing? And then Tiffany's like, oh no, Magrette's a queen, and Roland's like, I could use a queen against the Duchess. Fuck yeah. That's a trump card. Get fucked.
It's so good. It's so good. Well, you can't beat a queen. There you go.
There's a ton of little callbacks in this I really liked. I really liked Tiffany and I really liked Miss Proust being like, oh yeah, witches from the city. There's stones in the city. We could do this. And like, you wouldn't understand. Oh, no, maybe you would. Never mind. You get this. Like, we've been over this in a previous book.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what my favorite joke was in here. Again, this was a lot more of a. This wasn't like a laugh a minute type book as we were discussing.
We got some good bits though. We got
You got the Feagles talking about emergency exits on the broom.
Oh yeah, the Feagles were here.
Oh,
I keep
right,
forgetting
we
to talk
talked about
about them. They are.
Yeah.
They are certainly also in this book. They're in this book less than in previous books, and maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, but
I
they
feel like
word counts.
it is probably important that like the most the Feagles do are actually like the long bits with Amber.
Yes.
That was actually important, and Rob Anybody just actually having an earnest breakdown over just the threat of something happening to his home and to his wife.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that
he
was
actually
nice.
is forced to be a character for once instead of a caricature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even we Mad Arthur. We meet Mad Arthur, the cop Feagle.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
He's showed up in so many Discworld books before now. It's like sort of a minor character. I'm like, oh, he's a gnome. Of course he's a gnome. Obviously he's a gnome. And it's like, no, he was just raised by gnomes. He's actually a Feagle.
And even he's like, listen, like I'm a cop. I get it. You're not laws and stuff. But also, if someone shows up, I've never even been to the mound. But if someone shows up with a shovel, I gotta kill him. I'm gonna have to kill him. I'm gonna have to kill him in the next life too.
At the end of the book, he does the coolest thing a cop character could possibly do. He quits.
Yeah.
Also, I love that he's like a man of culture, and he's trying to teach the other Feagles culture.
He goes to the ballet.
It's so fun.
It's a good combination of him, and then also the way that like you could see a thread that Pratchett was thinking about between him and is it Janine, the Kelda, being like,
yeah.
Can we maybe make the Feagles a little less like this? Like they're poo boy.
Yeah.
They can keep their traditions and their personalities and stuff, but we do live in a pile of dirt. We could like maybe have some semblance of cultural preservation and enrichment. I don't know, just saying. We could like learn to read and stuff. Yeah. No, that was great.
It was like an entire chapter of Rob trying to learn how to read. Now just all the Feagles can read now.
Yeah, progress has been made. It's nice.
They're trying.
But yeah, like the whole thing with Rob, like, you know, kind of having that iron bit of him that's like, no, if you step on our land, you're gonna die. And like that even enters into the whole like negotiations with the Baron, where like even Tiffany's like, okay, but I am the Hag of the Hills, and I will speak. I'm gonna try to negotiate for you to make sure that you get this land. And Rob is like, okay, just know that if it doesn't work and people come in with the shovels, we're going to kill them. Mm-hmm. That is not negotiable. That is going to be a fact, a thing that happens. Mm-hmm. He doesn't give an inch with that, which is really cool to see. Mm-hmm. It feels more pointed to his character in a way that, like, all of the, like, oh, they just love drinking and fighting and blah, 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 blah shit, like, really didn't hit until now. It's because they value the concept of actual freedom far more than any other characters we've seen in the Discworld series so far. Even Cohen the Barbarian doesn't match up to this.
Yeah, no, it feels like it's trying to do something with them, even though they are still mostly just haha funny little guy. Put Tavern back together backwards, dumbass.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. That was maybe one of my favorite jokes, which is that they flip an entire tavern around.
Oh yeah.
They show like this book establishes that they're really good at putting things back together. There's like a busted mirror ball on a carriage early in the book that they're able to basically reassemble as if nothing happened. And then Tiffany's like, "How the hell did you do that?" And like Rob is like, "Oh yeah, we just put the molecules back together." And it's like, okay, so you can do, like, subatomic fairy forging. Yeah. That's crazy. We could explore that, like, all book, okay, if we stop to think about this for 5 seconds. But
that was also one of the good bits was when Tiffany's with the coachman and, you know, she, like, fixes his back or whatever, and when we meet him, he's like, I don't agree with. Oh yeah, I got to deliver this mirror ball. I don't agree. I don't agree with it. At least to Walter, that leads to depraved behavior. That he fixes his back, and he's like, oh shit, I can walk again. This is great. I mean, go get the wife and go waltzing. And she's like, but I thought that led to depraved behavior," said Tiffany. The coachman winked at her. "Well, we can hope so."
Hey.
I also will say.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
I also will say on another thing. I really loved that conversation for a much darker reason, which it was a great conversation for hinting that something was wrong. Because every single time that Tiffany says something like, the guy is like, "Well, I don't trust witches," and she'll be like, "Well, here's this," and he just keeps saying stuff. "Well, I'll let them know that you're one of the good ones," or something. Like he's just constantly saying shit that is slightly off in a way that.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels it's bigoted, but it's bigoted in a way that feels odd. That it almost came out of nowhere. And then it's revealed that yes, something is actually not creating this out of nowhere, but stoking it, making it more.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bigotry, what did y'all think of the villain?
I think it worked. Also, we got more Omnians. Remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute how they have an Omnian priest do the wedding at the end, and Tiffany sits with him. It's like, so like you're gonna be cool, right? And the guy's like, yeah, don't worry, we're modern about it. No Omnian's been weird about witches for a while, like ever since Brother happened and all that. And besides, there's like a bunch of witches here. I'm not gonna piss them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later
they mention Brother Oates up in the high places, the mountains, which is great.
Pratchett loves Brother Oates.
Yeah,
so that's great because I also love Brother Oates.
Yeah, the villain, the Cunning Man. He is two-dimensional, like by design.
Yeah.
So I can't really ding him on that. Like he did it's a good portrayal of like, oh, there is a. This is just a compressed sort of nasty clump of resentment and anger at the concept of witches that never truly was able to pass on to the next world. Like having the whole smell kind of precede him, and then having Tiffany be really paranoid about how stuff smells, asking people how stuff smelled, as sort of like this, like, trying to stay alert for when this dude is coming. I don't know. It really reminded me of how, like, when you live, and I mean, not to speak from personal experience as a trans person here, but when you live in a world where so much of it is defined by sort of, at any moment, somebody could, like, take their mask off and reveal that they want you to die, or they think that you're subhuman. Like, you kind of start staying on guard, even subconsciously, for like the little tells that kind of say like, oh, this is a situation where these people probably aren't going to like me. This is a situation where these people are probably going to say some shit to me, or, you know, even worse, do some shit to me. They're not going to let me in here. They're going to condescend to me, or they're going to talk to me like I'm not what I am. And you get to the point where you're doing that so often that you get used to it, but it is still actively taking effort from you. It's still actively draining you on a subconscious level to sort of be in this sort of on guard, alert phase all the time. And I'm, you know, as a white trans person who grew up well off, I'm one of the luckier ones. There's plenty of folks who have had to do that their entire lives. There's plenty of folks who have it much worse. But it's like, it's something that so many people have to just live with and experience and just like marinate in. So I feel like that was a great visualization of that in the book, which is that Tiffany, after a while, is just like, okay, when the fuck is this guy coming back? I need to be ready for when he comes back. How do you smell? Have you smelled anything weird recently? What's going on?
Yeah, and the whole way that only she could smell it in most circumstances, just making her feel even
yeah.
wrong. And the way that, like, it was something you had to be aware of at all times, because what if the person who was being, like, people are always a dick to you, but what if they're being a dick to you right now for a different reason?
Right. Because they could just be that they're not, they're not necessarily being bigoted. They're just being kind of an asshole. And if you just assume that all assholes are always bigots, then that starts leading to irrational thinking, and the rational thinking leads to the rough music. So you can't just, like, you have to constantly give people the benefit of the doubt while also keeping your guard up.
Yeah.
It's exhausting if you haven't experienced it. If you're listening to this show, I'm going to go ahead and assume you have. Ha ha ha. I know we have some, like, cishet listeners. I know we have some.
Hi.
But that's what it's like.
If you're a cishet listener to this podcast, 1, you should consider that very, very carefully. 2, we appreciate it. After you've considered that very, very carefully.
Have you seen I saw the TV glow?
Just asking.
I really enjoy it. I also like, not in terms of, like, the general, like, vibes of it, but just in terms of who he was, spooky fucking stuff. Genuinely really spooky.
Yeah.
The way he was described as just, like, no eyes, just holes through his face that you could stare through. I love that the first meeting of him in the book is Tiffany fully encountering him on the road. Like, it's not like, oh, there's vaguely something possibly, but he shows up, walks up to her and yells at her, and she's just like, wait, something's wrong here. It makes him feel like more of a threat. And then the description of how, like, who he was that Maskerade did, also really spooky, really good. Love when it's spooky.
Yeah, no, he was freaky. But, fire kills everything, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You gotta burn him. You just gotta burn Little Macintosh.
Yeah.
Speaking of little guys, we also got the lawyer Toad again. Remember him?
He shows up for
Yeah! Oh, guy I love to see. He's in the mix. Love him.
His single scene cameo is very funny.
Yeah.
I think my 2 favorite parts of the book were on a, like, personal, just, like, this hit level was her talking about her weapons, that her weapon is pride, that pride in yourself and in your work, pride in what you do, pride in keeping people safe, in doing what you do well, that's not something to be, that they say it's a sin, but no, that is something that that is something that you do to better yourself. And then also fear, genuine fear of those around you, and that you will overcome that fear, that you'll fail, and the ability to overcome that fear. And I have trust, even though I am not sure what it is I am trusting. I really love that passage. And my second favorite part of the book is when the Cunning Man is coming out of the book horrifyingly, and Tiffany and Letitia immediately bond over having read the same fucked up picture book where a goblin comes out of something.
Yeah.
And they're just immediately like, every kid read that picture book, and every kid got traumatized by it.
Fucking scribbled over his face. It sucked. They stick the Cunning Man's book in the fucking book press.
Yeah, which is great. They just sort of smash him in there. I'm glad that's a universal experience. Every kid had the one fucked up picture in a picture book they had when they were growing up. And it just burned a hole in their memories. Did y'all have something like that?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of what it was. I mean, the thing is, the problem is that I don't have a lot of universal stuff, because a lot of my stuff was, I was raised in a bunch of...
Oh, it doesn't have to be universal. I'm curious as to what your specific examples were.
Oh.
Because I definitely have one. We had a copy of, it was like a very lushly illustrated version of, it was like a written version of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker. And I remember the end papers were like a really close up shot of the Nutcracker's face, just big ass eyes and nose and like a zillion teeth. And that was fucked. I hated looking at that book.
so valid, though.
I would need time to find mine because I have enough vague memories that I could probably find it with a couple of hours of research, but I mainly just remember that one of the stories in it scared me so bad that my parents got rid of the book. So I would have to press them to find out what it was. So I definitely remember being traumatized by something, but I just do not remember the specifics enough to go dig it up. And the part of it that actually scared me is a little bit too personal for me to put on the podcast.
I was a very
Totally fair.
I was a very, very easily traumatized child. It was very, very easy to scare me. The one I remember most, though, was an edutainment game that we had. That was a Clue Finders video game, if you remember those.
I do.
And I played it, and it was the one on the island, and it ended with aliens, and I was so creeped out by it. But that's not why I remember it. I remember it because I was playing it while my parents were having like a dinner party or something. They were hanging out with their friends, and I was so scared, but I knew that I could not talk to them because if I did, I would be interrupting their thing. And more importantly, they would go, "Oh, the video game scared you? Well, we don't want you to play that anymore." And I really didn't want to stop playing cool video games. So I spent the whole night being like, I gotta just deal with this. I can't tell them. I can't say anything. I'm too scared. I can't do anything because I don't want them to know because I don't want to lose this cool video game.
That is the mood, though.
I've got a similar one of those that I can share because you could probably identify the moment that a young me discovered what mortality was and the knowledge that one day I would die, because at one point I suddenly became deathly afraid of the game over screen in the NES version of Shadowgate, to such a degree that when I heard the music I would start freaking out. My parents hid that game from me for like 5 years before I finally was able to go back to it.
Is this one with the skeleton man right here?
Yeah, it is a sad thing. Your adventures have ended here and all that.
It would be.
Yeah. I don't have a proper explanation for it. Like, that was just my best guess, was that I suddenly realized that, oh, right, this is going to happen to me one of these days. And maybe it's not funny that your character dies every 3 actions in this game. I mean, I hope I got over it, considering that that's one of those games that I can put on a blindfold and walk somebody through. I need to do that for June one of these days.
Oh yeah, no, we're going to talk about that.
I've threatened to do this on her stream before.
I took so much psychic. This is completely unrelated, but I took so much psychic damage because I was watching a friend stream some of Shadowgate a while back because I just tuned in and she was playing it, and all of a sudden I found out where exactly the Gaming in the Clinton Years theme song comes from, and was just started almost screaming at my computer. Some people will understand what I'm talking about, and if they do, well, wow, you.
Unfortunately, I do.
Sure are on mine.
There was one... Okay, I'm getting way off topic here, but there was one attempt that me and my roommates tried to do to run a Let's Play that was me running them through Shadowgate, and I had specifically queued it up so that when that track played, one of my roommates would specifically make one of those stupid Clinton jokes that Diabetes always did.
Oh my! Wow, that's incredible.
It's incredibly stupid, but you know.
The book itself.
Back to this.
I will say I really liked how dark this book was, because I think reading stuff that's really dark is good when you're a kid. I remember my childhood. I remember it pretty well. I think everyone who's like, we need to not expose children to scary things is mostly a dumbass. There is a comic that was done by Art Spiegelman and Maurice Sendak that has my favorite quote.
Yeah.
Where he says, it's Maurice Sendak, he says, people say, "Oh, Mr. Sendak, I wish I were in touch with my childhood self like you, as if it were all quaint and succulent like Peter Pan. Childhood is cannibals and psychotics vomiting in your mouth. I say you are in touch, lady. You're mean to your kids, you treat your husband like shit, you lie, you're selfish. That is your childhood self. In reality, childhood is deep and rich. It's vital, mysterious, and profound. I remember my own childhood vividly. I knew terrible things, but I mustn't let adults know I knew. It would scare them." And like, yeah, I remember being a kid. It was scary. Nobody understood. It,
Yep.
it was everything was very worrying. And I think exposing kids to stuff that is adult but not too adult that can prepare them in this way, which I think honestly this book does a good job of doing. That it is saying to people, you need to face bigotry and hatred and small-mindedness. You need to face the poison, and you need to deal with it by casting it out, by not believing in it, by caring for each other. You need to look at people who are shit
Yeah.
to you and try and understand them. And you need to control your own anger. Like that is what the witch books are about, and that means a lot to me.
It's it's why I keep coming back to it. What I always appreciate about the Aching books is, it's the like you can the parts where it's just very like, listen, precocious child. I know shit's tough right now, but like, don't lose that spark, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
need this
for
when
real.
you're gonna need this when you grow up. Oh, now I'm crying.
Aw. Yeah, no, it's really good, and I think about that a lot, and I think about like it's interesting to hold that up next to sort of our modern day crusade, where a lot of right wing pundits will use think of the children as sort of a like a one size fits all excuse for banning and silencing all sorts of conversations, media topics, pushing through bigoted agendas and stuff. And it's like it's important to remember that like kids, it's not that kids like can't handle thinking about heavier stuff. In fact, it's good when they think about stuff that's like in this book that about bigotry, about uh, ostracization, about domestic violence and stuff like that. Like this is a book that doesn't shy away from those things, but I think that it has some important things to say about how to deal with it, and also it lets kids ask questions about the world around them, about their own world, about how they're feeling about themselves internally, and training a kid to be like introspective and like considering their own feelings is like the thing that kind of makes them actualize into adults, I guess. Like that's like the most important gift you can give a kid is being like, okay, this is you got to think about where you're at. The whole concept of second and third thoughts. Like you got to be conscious of that. That is such an important component about how to be human that I feel like our concept of like the modern day concept of imagining children as these sort of like inert sponges that could be filled with poison by the wrong people just sort of neglects to really take into account. They are people.
It's also fundamental. I mean, the easiest way, if you ever want to tell whether someone is saying we need to protect the children because they care about children or because they're an evil piece of shit, the easiest way is just to look at what their alternative is. Because I look at a book like this and I think about how it would be read as a series, that someone could start with the first Tiffany Aching book when they are like, I don't know, 10, maybe like 10 years old, read it, love it, and then read the rest of them as they grow older, eventually hitting the final Tiffany Aching book. This one, or well, there's another one, but I don't know how that one's going to be. I'm pretending this is the final one for now, but hitting this one when they are a teenager or even like a young adult and watching a character change along with them and still gaining something from this and learning it's a good young adult series in that way. When you talk to someone who is like, we need to protect the children, we can't expose them to stuff, and you just go, well, what should they be exposed to? Like what are we doing to make something for the kids? How do we want to make something better for the kids? And 90% of the time the answer, they will not have a good answer, and that is proof that that person does not give a shit about children. Like, are you going to fund public access television? Are we going to have good, like, cool PBS shows like I had when I was a kid that I got to watch? Because I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of cartoons, but I still got to watch a lot of cool stuff because there was a lot of money in public access television for educational children's stuff. Are you funding that? Are you talking about how to fund that? Are you introducing something to try and do it? No, oh no, you just want to control your children. Oh, okay, you're evil. is the easiest way to tell a lot of the time. Is just to check someone's belief when they're trying to say this is evil and we need to get rid of it immediately. Check what their alternative options. Check how they're going to deal with the consequences. And if they don't have an answer, don't trust them. This is me going on a political rant now.
It's the classic.
No, it's fine.
You're anti-abortion, but you don't like care about the kid after it's born. You just
no, yeah.
No, I've said before. That's
it's the same
literally
thing.
what radicalized me originally.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things that made me realize I was in a Christian cult, that the beliefs around me were not good, was talking to people and being like, while I still believed a bunch of horrible bullshit about abortion because that's how I was raised, being like, so how are we going to support these moms afterwards? And just getting nothing from the people around me. Just getting, oh, well, the church will take care of them. It's like, what? You don't have a plan for this. This is, it broke me on a level, and that let me see a lot of other cracks. And that led me being to the terrible transgender monstrosity that I am today.
It's good to have you here, Gene.
Thank you. I'm wonderful.
Yeah. Sorry this is I'm not sorry this is an exceedingly political episode. All of our episodes are political.
Yeah.
You're listening to this, you're engaging with a political text.
Yeah.
Even Discworld is political.
Yeah.
Discworld is really political. If there's one thing you should have learned
really
from this podcast, I hope it's that Discworld is pretty political. And it's complicatedly political and often doesn't really know what it's doing, but it is political as hell.
Yes. Absolutely. So, did we want to move on to the ranking, or was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I did want to ask what y'all thought of the ending. Because this book only really has one ending, honestly.
Yay!
Yeah. I think Terry stuck the dismount better than maybe he ever has in any other book. I like that we got, I think, the word capstone was bandied around, and I really do like that we get a concrete send off for a bunch of characters. I haven't even talked to her about her, and she's one of my favorite characters. Nanny Ogg shows up in this book, and it's great. She shows up, she drinks like a fish, she tells Letitia what sex is, and she leads everybody in a rousing sing-along that doesn't have any boner jokes in it for once. Which is lovely. No, I just loved it. I love seeing her, and she really brings an element of brightness and humor. And one of my favorite things in the book was Tiffany watching her as she leads everybody in a sing-along at the funeral, and Tiffany thinks man, my whole thing is dealing with pain. I should have learned how to do that. I should have learned how to do people.
Girl, you're
best way you could witch. Yeah, but it just goes to show that Nanny is kind of the most powerful witch.
Yeah.
Granny is the most coolest, but Nanny is the most powerful witch because she's the one who understands how people work the best.
I mean, a major arc of the witch books is just learning the fact that when you first get started, oh, Granny's the best, and then as you read more books and you see them in action, you gradually learn that Nanny is the reason this stuff is all holding together at all.
You learn that it's an ecosystem, that they're all working together in this way, that none of it would work if they weren't all together. That there's a reason that there's 3 of them originally, and there's a reason that even Tiffany has the friends that she has. There's a reason that she's not alone at the end of this.
Yeah.
Also,
but I like the ending.
Love at the beginning of the book when Tiffany is talking about the fact that there is that they have a festival every year at the giant the giant with a huge penis.
Yeah,
which is a real thing.
Dang, Nanny Ogg would love this. Nanny Ogg would think this is so great.
Nanny Ogg would love seeing a huge dick.
She did in Lords and Ladies, remember?
Yeah. And they mentioned that later, that she's like, oh shit, wait, Nanny Ogg's definitely already seen this. I'm glad she's seen it. Yeah, it's a real thing. I was like, I think it's a real thing, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. Thank you, BALINA, for posting that it's a real thing.
But at the end of the book, we see another cheese rolling festival.
Except they don't roll cheese on this one because the Feagles fucked up the last one.
Yeah.
But they do the rest of the stuff.
Tiffany chats with Preston. They talk about expanding the education system in the chalk.
Yeah, training
and
up a doctor.
also, this is so fucking goofy, but like, I mean, the whole thing about like Amber getting together with the tailor, like that was seeded early in the book, and it's just like, oh, you know, it's another thing for Mr. Petty to get mad about because he's not working in a real profession, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, it's like, here, Tiffany, we got you the black witch dress.
Yeah.
We got you a proper black...
She
and
shall
like,
wear midnight if she wants.
I didn't think... I always thought I wasn't this kind of girl, but like, oh, the main girl gets a pretty dress. It looks really good. Oh, I shouldn't cry about this as much as I do.
It's symbolic.
did.
It's fine. It's
cool witch dress.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's symbolic of her coming into her own and finally earning kind of her stripes as a proper witch. I don't know. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect amount of like Pratchetting at the end where it's like, and this is the little cherry on top of everything. There wasn't too much like, oh, we're setting up the next book. There's a million extra endings we got to consider, blah, 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 blah. It was just,
He
We're
totally
done.
knew that this might be the last book he writes.
Yeah.
And he just needed to make sure that it ended on a good note.
Yeah, he gave a bunch of interviews that was like, either this one or the next one's going to be the last Tiffany aching, so we got to get your ducks in a row.
yeah. But that said, he really put the juice into this one. I really liked it.
And like I said, it feels, my partner described it as kind of a capstone, and I do kind of feel like that. It feels like at the very end we got this great, almost summation of the stuff that Pratchett cared the most about. Cares about, really, really hates bigotry and small-mindedness, but still cares about people who are like that, even though he doesn't know how to deal with it. That, like, he's a guy who lives in England and knows that a lot of the people around him are stupid and racist and is like, I don't know how to deal with this, and I still care about these people, even though I want them to be better. Believes that you can overcome this through a combination of reason and logic and learning, that like those are the most important things in the universe, but they have to be paired with empathy and care for everyone, that you can't just assume that you are the best, and also that there's this deep and I have mixed feelings about this, but I mean, it didn't speak to me for most of my life and still does in a lot of ways, this deep self-reliance that the only person you can in the end rely on is yourself, and you have to guard yourself, that you have to constantly be on watch of yourself against the demons, the hatred, the bigotry, the cruelty, that the only way to make a better world a better place is to become a better person, and that you have to do that work yourself. And like all of these thoughts are really, really well executed in a book, and it ends in a sick finale where Tiffany murders a dude and is completely justified in doing it, and also helps two people get married because she cares about them. And I can't imagine anything more like perfect summation of the book than that. I love it.
I think that having an ending that's so composed like that is going to be a real boost for this one in the rankings, because it is so unusual for a Discworld book to have that.
Can I do the last two jokes I appreciated? We can go to the ranking.
Oh yeah, hit us. Yeah, bring it on.
So when we first meet Esk, she still has the staff from Equal Rights that she had in her crib, and she mentions quote, and she mentions that it started to work better when she took the knob off the end.
Nice.
There's your wizard staff has a knob on the end reference for this book.
Not this one though.
And a girl wizard staff does not have a knob on the end. There's some kind of gender there. And
yeah, it's much more yonic
Yeah.
in its form, I guess.
Yeah,
Please design a transgender wizard staff, Pratchett fans.
yeah. There's a Labrys joke in here somewhere. There's a joke about someone being so nonplussed he was nearly minus, and one of the Feagles, instead of glaring daggers, was glaring claymores at Tiffany.
Yes.
God damn.
All right, there we go.
To be fair, they're the same
Yeah, that's
approximate
great.
dimensions when we're talking about beagles.
Right, exactly. It's a good bit.
It's fair.
You might as well.
Oh.
So, our ranking. We got to do it every episode. This is our 38th book. The ranking list is looking pretty big right now. So,
I think a good place to start here is, did you all think this was better or worse than Amazing Maurice, the other YA book we read?
I'm going to be honest. I was I was guessing 7 or 8. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Amazing Maurice is really fucking good is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to say it. I feel like this book is a little bit better written than Amazing Maurice is.
Yeah.
I think that it's just a little bit more together, a little bit more taut. So I would say maybe like 7 right above Amazing Maurice, but if we did like 8 right below it, that would also be fine. I think it's maybe neck and neck for that.
I personally really loved this book, and I think I would probably end up putting it more at 5, but I am very okay with 7.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. Was it better or worse than Thud? That's tricky because that's really like apples and oranges, really. Those are two very different books.
I think with Amazing Maurice kind of surprised us with how good it was, whereas with this one I expected it to be good, and it was.
Yeah. I think I might have liked this
better just because it's the capstone of a series that I enjoy a lot. I get to see Tiffany Aching come into her own in this book. The references are great. Like, Amazing Maurice is great, but this does have it's a Discworld book. Here's your Discworld guys in a way that Amazing Maurice did.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I loved it.
Yeah, it does.
I'll be real.
Does give a bonus from having all the witches and all the characters we like. It's like, which, yeah, maybe that's an unfair advantage, but it is an advantage.
Yeah, I am trying to be as fair as I can because I love the witches. I don't know if I would put it past the truth. The truth is pretty good.
Yeah, like, listen, this doesn't even have the news. No, wait, I think it briefly has the news polycule in it somewhere.
Yes, very briefly.
Yeah.
They show up.
Miss Cripsluck is in there a little bit to write about the King's
on
buds.
the King's back. Yeah.
Yeah, the King's ass.
Yeah.
I would be...
They're always perpetually the guys parentheses also girl I love to see.
Yeah.
I'd be fine putting this anywhere between 5 and 7. I'll let y'all choose where to put it because I'm fine with any of those slots.
I think
How hype are y'all
I think I'm
about
saying
Thud?
7.
Yeah, I'd say
7? All right, 7 works for me.
All right.
Yeah, cool. The highest witch book yet.
Also,
Wow.
The last one.
the highest young adult book.
Highest young adult book, highest Tiffany Aching book. This book is a really exceptional one that absolutely deserves to be in the top 10. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Discovers. We only have, as stated, 3 episodes left. Pretty wild. Get excited for our next one where we're going to be covering the book Snuff by old Teeples. You can hit us at our website, discpod.fun. We also have socials medias at on Bluesky. We are DiscPod. We're also DiscPod on Tumblr. And we're DiscPod at slime.global on Mastodon, the defederated social media network. You can leave comments there, or you can send us an email at disc@hypnovire.us. That's DISC at HYPNOVIR.us. Please send us your messages. We love hearing about them. Very, very excited to have spent this entire journey on the road with you, whether this is your first time tuning in or whether you've been listening since episode 1. Thank you for listening to our show. It really, really means a lot.
Thank you for inviting us into your ears.
Yeah, it's delightful in here. Barely any wax at all. But yeah, I'm Iris J. You can find me online at irisj.net, IrisJ Comics on your socials. Stuff to promote. I got some merch coming out soon. Shop.irisj.net. You can check that out. The thing I'm going to recommend this week, actually, is also kind of a promotion. I'd like to recommend the other 2 podcasts I'm on right now.
Wow.
Whoa! One of them is called, I do a segment called Light Bulbs for the Cartoonists United Comics Mixtape podcast. You can find that on the Cartoonists United YouTube channel. You just type Cartoonists United into YouTube. Our episodes go up like every month. My segment is about, I interview a comic artist in Cartoonists United and ask them about a comic that influenced them. Had a lot of really great conversation points. Last one I talked to was Cody Okamoto, author of Keeping Time. We talked about Paradise Kiss by Ai Yazawa, a really excellent shoujo comic from the 2000s. Worth it to listen to it. My other show that I'm on is called Cars Don't Fly. I do it with Alice and Brian from On the Shoulders of Giants, the giant robot podcast. We are currently, it's a limited series podcast where we are currently listening to, reviewing, and ranking, inspired by this show, ranking every single movie in the Fast and the Furious franchise. We're talking about the cars, we're talking about the action, we're talking about the stunts, and we're talking about the fashion, and we're talking about family. It's a lot of fun. You can go to the Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/OSGpod, and subscribe for $1, which gets you updates to all the episodes. I think this next episode is going to go up on public timelines. That's going to be the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift episode, which is a lot of people's favorite. We watched it the other night, and oh my God, what a film that was made in 2006. Really can't impress how much this film was one of the most 2006 films I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. No, you're
really,
right.
really fantastic. And I've seen Southland Tales, so I've seen some pretty 2006 films. Take it from me. Anyways, did you want to go next, Grace?
Oh, yeah, I can go next. I have been the internet's beloved Princess Grace. You can find my writing, programs, podcast posts, and everything else that's fit to plug at princess.software. What the fuck am I going to plug this week? Hey, if you're hiring a software engineer, I'm probably going to be fired by the time this episode comes out, so reach out on my website.
I recommend Grace's resume and CV.
Yeah, it's very good, and Grace is wonderful and good at what she does.
Damn right. If you could be better than working for Bezos, which is a low bar to clear, hit me up. I recommend you hire me.
Yes, please hire Grace.
I have been BALINA. I'm most easily found in the show notes. I guess if I'm gonna plug something, go play EmuROM. One of those games that unfortunately I can't talk too much about because it's sort of in the same bucket as like Void Stranger or Tunic or Blueprints or whatever, where the entire point is being constantly surprised by this weird bullshit that it pulls. If you are somebody who likes that kind of nonsense, you probably have already heard a lot about it from me already, but you should go play this.
I've been wondering about that. I've been seeing you play it a lot on the Steam friend list, so I got to check that out. I'm curious.
I told BALINA to go play it after I played it, and was immediately like, "You made me play Void Stranger, and now you need to play this." I'd like to point out that let me see how big Tunic is. An awesome game. If I installed Tunic right now, Tunic would be, let's see, I'm guessing a couple of gigs. Yeah, 1.63 gigs. EmuROM is less than 4 megabytes. And it's one of like the biggest, it's still massive in terms of the secrets it holds. Just astonishingly big game in a small package. Very, very cool.
Incredible.
And I'll have to bother you about it more. I think you've seen most of it at this point, but yeah.
I'm still hunting that one ending, but I might be at the point where I need to start finally asking for hints, but not yet.
I have been Juniper. You can find me online, streaming at twitch.tv/JuniperTheory. Lots of very cool stuff. I am going to plug the thing that I was up till almost 3 a.m. playing last night with my partner. The Mermaid Mask just came out. It's a sequel to Tangle Tower from the devs who made that. They also made Crow Country, if you've heard of that. It's one of the best adventure games I've ever played. And I have played A lot of adventure games. Like, a lot of adventure games in my day. It's just astonishingly good. It has amazing character design. I believe, there are over 40 different clues you can find by clicking around, and there's 8 different characters, and if you show any clue to any character, they have a unique voice-acted conversation with you about that thing, that if it isn't something that you should pay attention to solve the mystery, it is a funny joke or something that, killed me while playing it. It's astonishingly funny. It's astonishingly good. If you like low-key murder mysteries that are just going to be a fun, good time, and some Professor Layton puzzle boxes, and most of all, just some incredible art and character design, it's great. It's great. Go play it. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, that's definitely one I wanted to play with Nero. We played the demo for it during the last Next Fest, and it really rocked our socks off. Would you say that it's important to play the previous 2 games in the series first?
So no, not at all. Tangle Tower, I think, is almost as good. I really love Tangle Tower. It's one of my favorite games. Me and Kate, that's why we were so excited. Tangle Tower has a couple of things that I'm I think the ending's a little bit weak. I think there's some other things about it, but it's still really fucking good. The previous one, Detective Grimoire, is definitely a lot more amateur, but it's still quite good. Still very good. However, their setup where they're just kind of different mystery novels with the same guy, you don't really need to know about them aside. There's no real connection, so to speak, in terms of you won't understand this unless you understand what happened in the previous game. However, if you do play the previous games, you will get to spend a bunch of time going, oh, holy shit, that's a thing! Oh my god, what does that mean? At random stuff, which is very fun. But you definitely do not have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
they
are very independent of each other.
All right, cool.
I love that.
Well, hey. Thank you very much for that recommendation. I'll check that out. And thank you very much, dear listener, for listening. Join us next time when we tackle Snuff and we revisit our old friend, Commander Samuel Vimes, as he tries and fails to relax. It's going to be an interesting one, so stop on by again. Yeah, have you read this one yet? I've actually read this one.
I have not, and I heard that it was not very good, so I'm curious if it is good or not.
I read it, and I can't tell you a single thing that happened in it.
That's not a good sign.
I mean, to be fair, that was, that was, 10, 15 years ago?
Well,
we will try to dredge up what we can remember about it. Till then, truly, we were wearing midnight for this one, folks. Mm-hmm. Keep on disking. Keep on reading. Have a great time of day wherever the hell you are in the world.
Have a great time of
Sayonara. Have a great time of gay.
Gambate.
Go be gay.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.